You are listening to Comfort Crusade.
You're listening to the
New York Said podcast.
Fear not, my friends. This will be my greatest performance. Here we go. We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
Yo, where are we right now?
We are in the West Village.
But we're truly in the Comfort Crusade studio. This is where all the magic happens.
Well, some of it. The rest of it, man, it's like depending on whether they treat me right on the airline flights and stuff.
Oh, because you're on the laptop making the music?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you for joining me on this walk and talk, man.
Dude, no doubt.
What is this, a 3-story walk up? This is like real New York shit.
Absolutals.
Liz, she had a 6-story walk up.
Damn.
And I would go to see her and I'd be like, fucking leg day.
You gotta prepare for that.
And then one day I found this gigantic rock that this graffiti artist signed in a park. Like he just like did a piece on it. I don't even remember what it said. I just knew it was worth something. And I was like, fuck that, I'm taking this rock. And I carried it. I was like basically in Low East Side. So I was like, I'm taking this rock. And it was dead August. So
It was hot as hell.
yeah, so I walked it up 6 flights to her house and she was like, only you. She still has the rock.
What is so funny too is usually how like you might bring flowers or something to somebody's house or whatever. You come bringing rocks.
I was like, this is my rock. But you can hold it. It's been like 7 years. I think when she buys a home, that rock is gonna be in her garden.
Oh my God.
Oh Lord, man, this spot right here.
Yeah, that's
Jack's
our place.
wife.
Jack's wife, Frida.
That's my shit. That's really good drinks, really good eating.
Yeah. Yeah, it's dope. Got some good people in there too.
How long you been living in this neighborhood?
Been here for like a couple years now. Maybe, damn. Yeah, a couple years.
Cause you was living in Astoria.
Lived in Astoria for ages.
Yeah. Cause I remember I used to come out there and see you, and we used to go to like all the Greek spots.
Yeah, man, because you know, Astoria is all about that Greek food, Brazilian food.
Yeah.
I was there for ages. That's what kept me there for long.
When we first met, you said, you know what, I'm gonna learn Portuguese. And I didn't really know you like that. And I was like, sure you will. And then I got to know you. I was like, oh shit, he did it.
Bro,
Are you, like,
I have something
fluent?
to admit though.
Okay, go.
I started that back in London.
Oh, you did?
Like way back. Like because,
Okay.
you know, that whole like electronic lounge culture
Yeah.
came about because a lot of the Brazilian bossa nova tracks,
Yeah.
they would throw on top of electronic beats.
Yes.
And I always wanted to know because there's a lot of good female vocalists. I was like, damn, what is she saying? You know, so I wanted to kind of like understand her more, right?
Yeah.
For the vocalist. So that's what got me into it at first. So I started learning over there.
So that's what your curiosity.
Dude, I got tons of Brazilian friends in London,
Okay.
which doesn't make sense.
Well, I mean, it makes sense because like,
The home of English, and I learned Portuguese.
and there's a lot of like Jamaican culture,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And then there's a lot of Asian culture in Jamaica.
Yeah,
There's a lot of Asians
Yeah.
in Jamaica.
yeah.
And in
Very
Cuba. It's like this is Chinatown in Cuba. I didn't get the chance to visit it, but when I came back, they was like, did you go to Chinatown? I was like, I didn't know there was a Chinatown.
You're like on my way to the airport in New York?
Yeah, right, exactly. Shit. Yo, I didn't know you lived so close to all of
Dude,
this.
yeah.
You live right by SOBs.
Yep.
So if anybody's coming to visit Comfort Crusade, no, I'm joking. I'm giving all the clues to your house. I'm like, wow, this is a great purple flower on your door.
I know. A purple flower
Are we
that.
trying to make this light or
nope,
no?
we're not.
Okay.
We all wired up.
Yeah.
We get crunched up.
And then it'd be like, here's the evidence. I ran the light and they hit me. I'm in the wrong. Destroy this audio.
Just trying out for the NFL, that's all.
with fucking cars.
Right.
Oh my God. So you got new music coming out?
Got new music coming out. I've got a lot of new music coming out this year, and I'd say like the some of my favorite stuff I've been doing lately, you know?
Okay.
Like, yeah.
Like, what's a standout track to you?
Let's see. I'm doing that pause because I should, because there's like a lot of tracks that I like a lot, but
Yeah.
that one I did with Jonna and LV, Jonna Clark and LV. It's called Feels Like Home.
Feels Like Home. You sent me that one.
Yeah, it's pretty chill, it's laid back. It's very reminiscent of, remember we were at the Standard in Miami?
Yes.
Like that type of shit.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
The first time you and I went to, matter of fact, the first time I ever been to a Standard, it was with you. And I remember we were like kicking it with Marcus and we was just, okay, I see you. I'm acting like I didn't jump when I heard that shit.
But they try to bleep out Marcus's name.
And it's like, don't say Marcus's name. Marcus. No, shout out to Marcus. But we went out to Miami, we was kicking it in. This one we was living in Orlando. We went out to kick it with Marcus in Miami, had the spot or whatever.
Yeah.
And then at the time, I guess the Standard was under construction.
Yeah.
And I remember we was like drinking someplace else. So I was kind of like out of it in the back seat. And I was like, I looked out the window and I was like, what the hell does G have us doing? Like, what is this? And I had never heard of the Standard. It didn't register to me. You know what I'm saying? This is over like damn near 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I'm like, I look out the window, I'm like, yo, this dude G trying to set us up. Like, this look like a crack spot. And so I'm looking, I'm like, all right, I'll see what, because
Y'all want to hear some rock music?
Yeah, right, exactly. Here, take this pipe, I'm gonna play for you. I'm like, no.
And we don't mean bagpipes.
So we go inside and I'm like blown away. I'm like, oh shit, everybody has on like white robes on with the hoods. Everybody's chilling. The super crazy lounge music is playing. And I'm like, and then we started drinking those Brazilian drinks. What was it?
Caipirinhas.
I was so twisted that day. But I was like in a good place. Like I wasn't like sloppy drunk. I was just like, this is what drinking is supposed to be like.
I hope you're doing really good. Call me sometime, okay? The space between my body and my mind, where I just observe. Can you imagine floating weightless, like a satellite in the black sky?
I don't need anything when I'm here, because it feels like home. It feels like home, home, home. It feels like home. It feels like home.
But have you ever thought, what if this is all just a dream? I dream about things way beyond this atmosphere. But for now, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here.
The space where I can just be.
It's that my mind is not my brain.
It feels like home, home, home. It feels like home. It feels like home, home, home.
The world is such a different place these days. Hey, it's me. I know we haven't spoken in a while and things have been weird. I dream about things way beyond this atmosphere. Like if I was an astronaut, I definitely wouldn't still be here. Oh, darling, What is the meaning of life? I don't know. I guess I'll just keep reaching for the moon.
It feels like home. It feels like home. It feels like the part of me I've always been searching for.
You stop trying so hard, and you surrender to the knowing that you don't know anything. The world is such a different place these days.
Yeah, I was just young and just feeling it. And so,
Yeah, that was fun. That was, oh man.
but that was around the time where you and I were like really listening to a lot of lounge and Brazilian and what we called get rich to this music.
Yeah, GRT.
Yeah.
T.
Yeah. And then you always made music. And so like to see your progression and your basically the way you've evolved over the years. Can
Yeah.
you talk about that with this latest track?
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, like a lot of the tracks that I've been doing recently, including Feels Like Home, are rooted in several different types of electronic. You've got a lot of that electronica, as people call it, which is like, you know, keyboard driven, chords, strings, as Warren G used to say.
Yes.
You know, just like good vibe chords and strings, and you can put beats underneath. A lot of the beats that I use are either hip hop or house oriented.
Because you did that, I don't know, what do we call it? A flip, a remix, a matchup? I don't know. You did the Going Back to Cali joint.
Yeah.
I was on the bus coming here and I was like trying to like not bob my head. And I was just like, fuck it, this shit is
You
dope.
can't not bob your head to Biggie.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah, but you flipped it perfectly.
Oh, I appreciate that. Like it was fun to do, and plus, you know, like to do something like that, I wanted a Biggie joint that I could play at the pool, you know, poolside at those cafes. And
Yeah,
I'm
but
just-
you left it like extra raw. Like he's just talking crazy.
Yeah, because people cuss. You know what I'm saying? So even those people, like they're on vacation, they'll say something, you know, out of pocket.
Yeah,
you know?
they're in vacation mode.
When the la hits your lyrics, just split ya. Head so hard that your hat can't fit ya. Either I'm with ya or against ya. Format bent ya. Back through that maze I sent ya. Talking to the rap inventor. Nigga with the game type fifth, that flame right. Spell my name right. B-I-double-G-I-E. Iced out, lights out, me and Caesar Leo. Getting head for some chick he know. See, it's all about the cheddar. Nobody do it better. Going back to Cali, strictly for the weather. Women and the weed. Sticky green. No seeds, bitch, please. Papa ain't soft. Dead up in the hood. Ain't no love lost. Got me mixed up. You drunk them licks up. Mad cause I got my dick sucked. And my balls licked. Forfeit, the game is mine. I'ma spell my name one more time. Check it. It's the N-O-T-O-R-I-O-U-S. You just lay down slow. Recognize a real dawn when you see one. Sipping on booze in the house of blues. I'm going back to Cali. I'm going back to Cali. I'm going back.
Yeah, definitely not for the family thing. You know, I got a clean version too, but you know, yeah, there's like, it was fun doing that one because, you know, like,
I think it's one of those things where you're chilling and all of a sudden you hear Biggie come in.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, I like the way this is riding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it puts that edge to the lounge music.
Yeah.
You know, because there's that style, there's those of us that grew up with that, but we still want to rock to it. But sometimes the originals in the current context, you know, may not fit as well.
Nah, it'll literally break the flow.
Yeah.
You know, like I've heard you spin at Drink Lounge and I never know what's your music and what's, you know, like, because sometimes you flip your music inside of other people's music and you do a whole set of just a whole flow. And even with your mixes, like I like how you do that. That's how I guess you know that you've evolved when people can't tell the difference between somebody like, who did we used to listen to back in the days in Orlando? We used to get those CDs.
Oh, like the Nova Vita stuff
Yes,
and all that?
all that shit.
Bruno
yeah.
E.
Bruno E.
Shouts out to Patricia Marks and Bruno E.
Yeah, that's what I couldn't recall the Bruno E. Like, yeah, those are classic remixes or just classic discs or whatever.
Dude,
but do you feel
I love
like
that to this day. Like all of that stuff.
No, it's when you say timeless music, that Bruno E stuff is absolute timeless. Do you feel like since then that you've evolved into what Bruno E was doing, or are I know you still have your own voice, but
Well, I think I'm in that, I try to get into that space. But I mean, Bruno E is a legit, like, multi-instrumentalist.
Right.
Like, he doesn't need computers to rock it. Whereas for me, I'm decidedly electronic.
okay.
Like
Fully.
Detroit. Detroit is all about that post-Motown Detroit.
Yeah.
Where I'm from, that's like definitely all about that, the early soulful techno, house music. We were right there at that time when Chicago popped off with that. So that's why, like a lot of people are like, oh, I don't know if I like techno. They say that, but
It's in there. I mean, like now
Yeah.
you hear like Beyonce, you hear everybody from Beyonce to Lil Uzi, and all the stuff that's happening in Jersey and Chicago
Yeah.
and New York
Yeah.
and Detroit and overseas.
Yeah.
Like there's always been that. But do you think there's any like real innovation since the beginning days, or is it like reinterpreted, remixes of things that already existed? But do you think there's new sounds and genres?
I mean, when the technology advances, there's always going to be something new that you could bring to the table.
Okay.
So recording, production technology has just gotten so ridiculous over the last decade plus.
And I guess the barrier of entry has like diminished to damn near nothing.
Well, that has too. But also even in terms of like the actual soundscape, because if you notice when you listen to stuff from the 80s or the 90s,
Yeah.
like it sounds thinner than something now. So, like the sound is like a lot bigger.
So like that song like Sweet Dreams are made of thee, who am I to disagree? Who sang that?
The Eurythmics.
The Eurythmics.
They're dope.
So is that electronic music?
Yeah, it's based on it,
Okay.
Like because they're
let's
using
turn
synths
around
and-
because we're getting wind.
Yeah, it's synths are used quite often with that.
Yeah.
That whole mid 80s kind of time, you had a lot of good synths that were being used then.
Okay.
Walking over this cobblestone, I'm like thinking, okay, let me try not to get stuck in it.
Yeah, don't sprain your ankle. You don't get to see too much cobblestone.
I know.
My
right?
favorite cobblestone street in New York is Bond Street. And I feel like they're trying to like pave over it. But if you ever on like Broadway and Bond,
Yeah.
just walk up that from Broadway to the Bowery. Cutting up Bond Street is one of my favorites.
Okay. Yeah,
let's go this way.
The last cobblestone that I remember recently I was at was remember Meatpacking District, right?
Yeah, it's still around.
So all of that
He
whole
said, remember the Meatpacking District?
Well, yeah.
Like they destroyed that shit.
And you know what? I feel bad too because I say remember it because people used to go there, not so much now. So
Yeah.
shouts out to the Meatpacking District for providing a great history.
Yeah, from back in the days, I guess. Now it's kind of like a fancy mall.
Yeah, pretty much. Because there's like hotels there. Remember APT was over there
Yes.
back in the day. So
But now you got the Standard, the High Line, da-da-da-da-da.
yeah.
And of course, my favorite restaurant, Course. I said course. I meant to say course, like a me. Yeah, there's a Course is is a really big supporter of New York Said. They have a ton of New York Said photography. I'm saying a ton. It's like 12 pieces, but they're pretty big pieces.
Okay.
On the walls. So shout out to Chef Vince.
Nice.
Let's hike up this block.
All right.
So whatever things you're getting into.
Man, I've been getting into, just putting out more music, like more of a cadence or a pace.
Hold up, not to cut you off. Well, as I cut you off.
That's like the irony.
No disrespect, but yo, what's up with the? I had a manager that used to do that shit. He'd be like, "Aman, no disrespect," and he would just say some foul shit. I was like, "Yo, I know we on the clock, but you pushing it."
Right, like salt and pepper.
Right. So you've been dabbling a lot in the AI space. So like, the other day you sent me this woman that was talking, and that whole video was created with AI. The script, the voiceover, all of that shit was created with AI.
Well, the script, I wrote the script.
Of course you wrote the script, but I mean like,
yeah,
she
but
did the
put it all
voiceover.
together. Yeah.
She did the voiceover and the video, and I mean it was just like a
Yeah.
whole thing.
Yeah.
But in that, it said you DJ'd in 26 countries.
Yeah.
And that's over the years? I didn't even know that.
Oh,
I mean, I know
definitely.
you well-traveled, but like,
Yeah, over the years, for
can
sure.
you talk about that?
It was fun. It was like just being able to get there and play at different spots, and they range from like, you know, bigger known spots. I was at Hotel Coste in Paris once.
Okay.
Got to play there in the lineup with a few people, and
That's the folks that had that series back in the day?
yes,
Hotel Cost?
wonderful chill series. So people that are like getting used to that stuff,
My joint?
you'll listen to that.
My favorite from that series was London. I like London
Oh yeah, in the rain.
in the rain. I like London in the rain. And I listen to that shit on repeat. So if y'all can Shazam me singing it, it might come up. Probably not.
I was gonna say, and if it does come up with your Shazam, you need to write support for this.
For real, I'd be like, yo, y'all are good.
No, but yeah,
So
it's
you
like
did that hotel. I used to call it Hotel Costas, but it's just Hotel Cost.
cost, yeah.
Okay.
And then the standards, you know, throughout Miami, LA. I haven't played at the one here yet.
Have you done like Germany, Berlin, any of that?
Yeah. Yeah, I love Berlin. That was dope.
I love Berlin too.
It's got its own vibe for sure.
Berlin is extremely creative. And I don't know if it was because I was born there, but like all types of magical shit was happening the whole time I was there.
Yeah.
I was meeting really cool people and just random stuff would happen.
It's running into folks.
Yeah.
That's true. Like Berlin is like a very impromptu kind of scene. Like you can walk up and like see friends, go, hey, you want to go here? All right, let's do it.
Yo,
Kind of like the way New York was. you know,
this is a quick Berlin story. When I got off the plane to go to my hotel, I was too early. So they was like, we'll take your bags, go walk around. So I go to this coffee shop and there was this book. They had like a conference. It was called Bread and Butter. But I guess the conference was over, but they had the book in their like library in the coffee shop. So I'm flipping through this book. I'm like, this book is incredible, but I didn't know it was a conference book. So I'm like, it had like a mirror on it. It was white. It was just a super cool book. But I'm not gonna take the book because I'm not a thief. So I put the book back and I start looking around and like whenever we would see a bookshop or something like that, because I didn't know it was a conference book, I'm like, yo, where can I find this Bread and Butter book? Where can I find? People are like, what the hell are you talking about? You know? And so, make a long story short, I end up in the Soho House. And I'm like, I get up to go to the bathroom and somehow I mention the book on the way. Like, the guy who created the book was sitting next to the table I was sitting at. And he goes, I can give you 2 of those books. Those are conference books. You can't buy those books. And I was like, you can't? And he was like, no, they were specifically for the Bread and Butter conference. I said, okay. He said, meet me at this place. He had a shop, like a denim shop or whatever. And so like I go and he gives us 2 books or whatever. And it's stuff like that just kept happening over and over the whole trip. And I was just kind of like,
That's serendipity.
yo, out of all the books in the world, out of all the things, this guy happens to make the book that I can't get and he's gonna give it to me. And I was only there for a few days, but it was great.
Berlin's got a lot of people too, so
Yeah.
it's interesting. You could run right into that person. You know what?
What's
I'm
up?
gonna stand right here, get some natural samples of these birds.
Are you gonna sample this?
Why not?
It's a lot of birds.
It is. Perfect.
That's all you need?
That's all I need.
That's it.
Loop it, randomize it.
Yeah. So does it happen like that for you? You just hear some shit? Like somebody's like, get your hand out of my pocket. You like, I can make a song out of that.
Can you say that with a little extra? I become the director that people hate. Like, no, can you say it one more time, but slower?
Yeah, just authentically.
No, right?
I call you G, but are you at the point where people call you Comfort Crusade? People know you as Comfort or Crusade?
It's
or,
kind of funny.
Or they call you GCC or like what's going on?
Whenever I DJ
Yeah.
and like, you know, go overseas and do it, people call me that. And like sometimes it's kind of funny. I'm just like, well, if you want to have an extended conversation, you can just call me Greg. You know what I'm saying?
Right. If we're gonna know each other.
Yeah, if we're gonna know each other, you should know that. And don't tell your parents you met Comfort Crusade. You know.
Well, I mean, it could almost be like a mysterious thing where people go, oh, I met Comfort Crusade. So yeah, where can everybody find you? Like, what's the best way to find your music?
A good start is comfortcrusade.com.
Yeah.
You just go to the site, learn a little bit more about not just me, but the style of music.
Yeah.
that I'm doing lately. This electronic lounge sound, embraced by many people, from, you know, coupled up 20-somethings to people like, you know, in their 70s, you know, that just have a lot of, you know, resort time on their hands, you know. So yeah, I mean, it's good. It's a different type of genre, you could say, as opposed to most that are like more generational. You know, this one seems to span. Yeah, it spans a range of people. You know, so
What I
even
like
people
about
that have like a favorite favorite genre, like some people are really into certain kinds of music. But one thing that a lot of people do remind me of is that they all want to chill.
Yeah.
At some point, no matter what their
You gotta
favorite music
decompress.
is.
Yeah, you
know?
gotta decompress.
So it's good. Like, and you know, I got friends that are like, yo, you know, I was, I cleaned the house with your music. I was able to chill and do that. I was like, for real? Okay. Power to you. Yeah.
All right. I feel like everything is, especially in New York, like everything can be a little intense sometimes, whether you're riding the train or even driving or hopping in an Uber or whatever. Like sometimes just commuting and getting the day-to-day, like today, I was overwhelmed. Like I was like, I gotta write this email, I gotta write this person back, I gotta come and see you, I gotta shave my face. I mean, like they sound like little tiny ass things. They're definitely first world problems, but like it just adds up and adds up and adds up and adds up. And then like the bus was delayed, and so like even though you get through your day, and then like I want to like break down and start crying or whatever, but like sometimes things can become overwhelming, and then like sometimes bigger life things happen, and moves and loss and this and changes and situations, and like you said, sometimes music will, like, if you're working out, is great, but sometimes you just need to like get comfortable
And escape.
and take a crusade.
You gotta escape.
You see what I did right there?
Yeah, I get that. It's important to escape, though, man. And I try to tell my people that, like,
Gotta
you know,
escape.
a lot of people are so wrapped up in their own globe of things to do.
Yeah,
that
a
it's
universe.
just better to like remember yourself and take a commercial break, like all your favorite programs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they all have ad breaks and stuff. So you should take one too from your life.
So what do you do to take a break outside of your music?
You know, bungee jumping.
Word. In New York? Right off the Empire State Building.
Yeah, man, you know. Last week was windy.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I don't do that. I do, like, I try to, like, also listen. I like sports a lot, too. So I, like, walk around the city, you know, listening to some of my favorite sports podcasts.
Yeah.
You know, shouts out to... Well, I mean, shouts out to the whole ESPN family. My dude Jalen went to school with at Michigan, Jalen Rhodes. Like him and Jacoby, they have a Jalen and Jacoby show.
Yeah.
I listen to that often. The folks at The Ringer, Big Waz, former New York King, now off in the West Coast, doing his thing out there, The Ringer crew. Yeah, you know, there's just a bunch of people that like I keep up with.
Last night I was watching that Shaq documentary.
Oh, you saw that? I think he's got a couple out.
Yo,
so
the new one, whatever the one that's on HBO, is hilarious. Like
is it the Orlando one? The Orlando Magic?
No, it's all of it. Like it's 4 parts.
Okay, no, I didn't see that one.
It's like, at first I was just like, I just want to watch it because I'm always studying documentary and filmmaking or whatever. I just want to see what the, like, if HBO puts out a new documentary, it's like releasing a new iPhone for me because I'm like, how are they going to handle the photography? How are they going to handle the edits? What about the music? Like, I'm overanalyzing it, you know. But
You into that?
yeah, I'm really into it. But I watched the first episode and I was just like eating a sandwich and I would just bust out laughing. And I'm like, yo, this guy is nuts.
Oh, Shaq is hilarious.
And he's not, I know he was funny, but I didn't know like his timing was just so like on point.
No, Shaq is incredible. And shouts out to Big Earl, who is really good friends of ours, and Marcus and Jake and all of them.
Yeah.
We're all in that same crew from Orlando. Earl was working with the Magic at the time, like, you know, I think as a camp coordinator,
Yeah.
you know, for them. So you got to know Shaq and
It
everybody.
covers all of that. It covers like all the way. I'm in the fourth one
That's
right
how
now.
we met him.
Oh,
Through
okay.
Earl, you know.
I saw Shaq one time on Orange Avenue, and I was like, I just knew it's like you can't.
I was gonna say how you not in disguise, right?
But he had like a small afro, and I didn't know if it was a wig or he grew his hair out. And I was like, that's fucking Shaq, and I just kept walking. Like I ain't gonna say nothing. I just saw Shaq. But watching that doc, I was just like, and again, like I'm into sports kind of, but not really. I don't keep up with it, but I'll watch a documentary, and I was thoroughly entertained by like, all the dunking and all that other stuff, but like the way he executes lines sometimes you just start laughing like, and he's not being like a clown. Like sometimes he can be silly or whatever, but like at one point he was like something, I was like, fuck that. That got me mad. And the way he would say it, I just started cracking up.
I wish I could remember exactly what the event was, but when I first moved here in the late 90s, we were all together in Orlando in the mid 90s.
Yeah.
Right? So I came up here just, freshly moved, and Shaq was here signing autographs at some place or whatever. And he was just like, yo, what's up, Greggy? This and that. And I was just like, I looked, I was like, oh, it's Shaq, so.
Wow.
But it was cool because, like,
Shaq strikes me as the type of guy that would, like, he would mess with you if you would, like, he would play around with you, but, like, in that, like, hazing kind of way, in that, like, Q-Dog kind of way.
For the sake of entertainment.
Yeah. But, like, not trying to, because at some point he was, like, ready to fight Phil Jackson and, like, just all these, it was just hilarious, honestly. But I always got that vibe from him, like, if he could, like, herb you or intimidate you, he would, but he's just joking. Out of all these experiences that you've had, right now, what is the most important lesson you've learned so far?
The most important lesson that I've learned, I think it gets me far when it comes to, like, dealing with people and meeting people, is that underneath the facade, people are people. Like we were just talking about Shaq. Like, it could have been anyone that we could have been talking about, but it was not. It was him.
Right.
Like being in the music industry, especially at that time when I started in it, it was to your advantage to get to know people, and ideally, if you could, get to know them outside of the framework of the industry.
Gotcha.
Because when you could do that, you really got a good relationship with them. But it really, I look at TV and stuff like that, and I'm like, a lot of people are watching it with me, and they're thinking, oh yeah, that actress or that actor is great, and I'm like, I just want to know what their favorite, wing spot is.
Right,
like I want to know, like, do they like those kind of shoes or do they like these?
Yeah.
Or, I want to know what's beyond what I see.
Right. Because that's almost like packaged and given to you.
Yeah. And curated, like, to death.
Yes.
Right? Because, like, a movie should be curated,
right.
Like that. So.
And that's what PR is all about, and
Yeah.
media and that kind of thing. Like, sometimes when I do certain interviews with notable individuals, it takes them a second to realize, like, they can kind of break out of the media training and
Yeah.
just have a conversation. And they're like, I had a guy, we were like 45 minutes into it, and he was like, oh, this is a real conversation. You really want to know about me. And then, like, the last 10 minutes was banging, but, like, the first 45, he was like, stringent with, like, these are the answers that I give everybody.
He had his talking points,
Yes,
and, like, his shouts.
And so, like, over the years, I've learned to, like, navigate out of that quicker, but, like, sometimes you're just like.
I think but that training in the music industry at that time, it really paid off for, like, any kind of industries, in general, just getting to know people, see how they tick, and what, outside of the context of where you met them.
Okay.
That's huge, because then you end up getting a person that you could talk to that will just, like, reveal things to you quicker than, let's say, if they thought of you as just, oh, that's that contact that I know.
Yeah. I think a lot of times, especially now, with so much happening and so many people having the ability to do interviews or whatever, a lot of times they just want to know, like, is this going to be a real conversation, or am I just content? Are you just going to, like, utilize my name to get your project further, or just is about clicks? Yeah. And then when they realize that I've watched all their interviews and I know about them sincerely and I am definitely curious and interested, then I get a lot more out of them, because I'm sincerely, especially if I'm in person, like, they can see my body language, they can see my eye, we can have eye contact, and they can go, okay, all right, this is a real thing, as opposed to me, like, kind of just, like, freestyling it. And I'm like, so you got a book coming out, so what's it called? As opposed to, like, you got a book, I want to read it. How can I, and matter of fact, I read it. Right. A lot of times if I'm like, somebody has a book and they're like, I'll read the whole damn book, and then I can make talking points and we can go from there, but, like, I'm not going to just freestyle it from, like, the introduction.
Or you get the, like, put 3 or 4 press releases together,
Yes.
and then regurgitate that. You're like, oh my god.
What a waste of time. So it's like
They can see through that like crazy.
yeah, and then they just shut down and they give you the media speak. So I want to end this on one of the songs you gave me, but I'm going to butcher the name. Is it La Pachanga?
Yeah, La Pachanga.
I didn't butcher it?
Man, you treated that like a nicely cut sirloin.
Yeah, so we're going to end this with La Pachanga.
Yeah.
And G, always, I appreciate your time. I always love kicking it. And this new concept of like walking and talking around the city, like, I'm not going to edit this. This is like, what happened is what you get, and I'm loving this because before, like, especially like the first 100 episodes,
Yeah.
I would spend like 8 hours trying to meticulously take out every and noise, and I'm like, it's you, it's I, and it's the city. The city's the third guest.
Yeah,
So
city's always the third guest, as you can tell
that's
here.
we're outside. Yeah, so
You know,
we outta here.
like they try to, everybody get to chill. Spotify, Apple Music, all the usual digital streaming
Instagram.
suspects, Instagram,
Get MySpace,
Friendster.
Friendster, just do a Google search and you'll come up. So
Yeah.
we out of here. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, New York. Thank you, everybody listening.
Peace. That was uncalled for, right?
That was good.